Hello and welcome to my second video on my channel where I'm just talking into the microphone. I have been watching some OC character videos over the last hour while I was drawing my new character, and I was like, hey, why don't you just do your own My Characters video? And since some of you may watch my speed paints where I mostly draw my own characters, I was thinking like, hey, why don't you make your own video where you just talk about your characters so people know who they are, maybe are interested in the story, and just generally speaking about characters, because I really love talking about my characters. The very first character I'm going to talk about is one that has been featured in my latest speed paints a lot of times, especially in the last two speed paints, my Gortoba ones, and his name is Vahir Indira Shakur. Yes, it's not pronounced in English, it's pronounced like I'm saying it when I'm speaking German. I guess when it's like pronounced in English it's like Vahir Indira Shakur, but I speak German, so I just pronounce it like I do in a German way. He is my ghost character and he existed since December 2016, I think. And his making was really funny. I was visiting a friend at the time around New Year's Eve, and we were watching Danny Phantom together because we both loved the show. And she was like, hey, you need a ghost OC. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I do need one. And I was like, hey, what do you think about a pothead who just fell down the stairs and died? And we found it funny, and I was like, okay, I just scribbled a character in my sketchbook. I have to see if I find it, and then I can like edit the images in. And I really liked him, so I decided to keep him. And he just started out as a joke. I used him as a Danny Phantom OC, had him drawn in the style, and included him in the story and all this. And after a while, I was starting to draw him in my semi-realistic style, and I was adding more things that weren't in Danny Phantom canon. And after a while, I kind of shoved him away from Danny Phantom and made him his own world and story where he could live in, so I don't have to follow the Danny Phantom canon. And I also made him a boyfriend, which is Xavier. And you might have seen him in one or two videos, and he's his boyfriend. And since I really love height difference, I made him tall, and Vahir is very small. Not very much, but you get it, there's a size difference on the screen. And I really love them, and I still do, and they're two of my closest OCs, and I have so much art of them. I draw them so much, and I really love it. The one thing is that I do sometimes forget Vahir's scars or tattoos because I'm a dummy, and every time I commission a pic of him, people usually forget things like the scars on his face, his piercings, and his tattoos. And one time I told the guy he had forgotten his live or die tattoo, and the guy actually wrote live for die on his body, and I was laughing a bit. I had it was edited out in the end, but it was kind of funny at that time. And yeah, that's the story how one of my closest OCs had been created in an accident. Another close character of mine is my Transformers OC Angel, and yes, I do know that she had been inspired by RC's design, but at the time when Transformers Prime came out in Germany, it was like 2011 or 12, and I was only 13 years old when I started to watch it, and I really loved Transformers. And I love Transformers Prime for its simple robot designs. I do like the Michael Bay movies as well, but most Transformers series didn't have the right style for me, except Transformers Prime. And I was very invested in this series, and I was like, I do need a fan character. And the same friend of mine who convinced me to do a ghost character was also one who showed me her Transformers character, and I was like, hey, I have one too, and we kind of shipped them together, they're little girlfriends. And Angel had been around for quite some time, I think 6 or 7 years by now. I haven't drawn her much in the beginning. Her first sheet had been made in 2014. And I made some timeline how she changed, because she really looked like an RC recolor at first, and I was like, that doesn't look right. She needs an original design, and I kind of transformed her in a way she looks special and still fits into the female character design of this show. She does kind of look like RC in some way, but I tried to make it a little bit more obvious that she's not RC. Like, her horns are more curved and presenting like devil horns, which is kind of funny because she's called Angel. She has another color scheme. Her alternate mode is another bicycle, and that kind of stuff. And she has heterochromia, and because I wanted her to be special when I first created her, and her story kind of explained it. Here's the thing: I always used to believe that Transformers can make children like humans, or at least have like biological families. Not that they were made from some entity or something. And that's kind of my headcanon. So please do not think I am presenting this as canon, because Angel had like a Decepticon father and an Autobot mother, and that's the reason for her eye color. And she was an outcast because of this, because like, oh, your parents are mixed, and that's kind of weird. Why would they do it? And her father was called Blitzkrieg, which is German, and he was like a double agent. Like, the Decepticons thought he would spy on the Autobots, but in reality he was spying for the Autobots. And when he was caught, he was like a highly wanted target because he knew so much. And Angel was kind of a target too, because she was his daughter, and so her mother fled with her, and she went to Earth with her brother, which also exists. Yeah, she has a brother and a sister, only step or like half brothers, because they have a different mother. But that's another story for another time. I just wanted to explain, well, why her eye colors are different, and I do love her. And yes, some people might say she looks very weird because of the two eye colors and ooh, special, but I don't include her in the canon Transformers. I made my own story for her with the own people, and yeah, it's my own world, and I will never say she's a canon character for the timeline with Optimus Prime and all this kind of stuff. Another close character of mine is Anis Polyakov, and she is my Metal Gear Solid fan character. I actually created her after I played through the Phantom Pain, and yes, Sydney, this is one of my favorite games. I love Metal Gear, and I love the Phantom Pain, and I love the fourth game, and I love the first game, and the Phantom Pain just happens to be my all-time favorite. I really love it. I love Venom Snake, I love all about it, and even though it hadn't been finished because the whole stress with Konami, it's actually pretty good. And when my dad got it for me, I was really happy, and I played through it in a couple of days, and I was like, hell, I do need a character for Metal Gear. And I already had this idea in mind, and I was like, I really love light hair and blue eyes, so I'm gonna make a character. I also love facial scars, and I gave her facial scars. And when I order commissions from her, I always look if her scars are in the right position, because it actually means a lot, and it's like a trait you can recognize the character upon. And she was named Anis because at the time I really loved the Antwoord, and they had a character in one of their music videos which was called Anis. I really hope I pronounce it right. I do learn Afrikaans, but I can't speak it as good as I speak other language. And I felt like it's a really nice name because we have like a plant or a tea in Germany that's called anise, and it's like, it tastes really bitter, but I love it. And Polyakov is just a Polish surname. Part of my family is from Poland, but I can't speak Polish. And I was like, she's also from Poland, like her father's from Poland, I think, or her mother. It's her mother. So she has a Polish last name. And she was existing in time that with Venom Snake. She was like on the mother base, and she was a tactical instructor and like responsible for the gear, and she was also a sniper. Like, she's not the perfect sniper such as Quiet, but she was like a side character for like missions. You could send out your units to missions, and she was like one of the snipers going with them. And I do know she kind of looks like Raiden with the bright hair and the eyes, and she's not albino like some people have thought about her because her hair's so light. I just love the hair, and if she was ever to be like made in a 3D model, I would darken her hair a bit so it looks more natural. But at the time, I really love it, and it really fits the images when she's drawn. So I'm keeping it. And to finish this video, I'm going to talk about my personas. My personas actually and honestly don't have much of a story or world to live in like most of my characters. They're just existing to represent me. And here we have Dave. Dave is a non-binary bat Canaan hybrid, and Dave was actually a trans male because I'm trans myself, but at the time I made him, I was feeling very insecure about myself, and I made him non-binary, and I really do think he fits me because sometimes I'm jumping from like feeling male to feeling nothing at all. I don't know if you could call it non-binary, but I didn't know a word like neutral. I just don't care about my gender. And so yeah, Dave's like a rough side of me, the colorful hair, the torn ears, and I love bats, and he's just edgy. He is edgy, I do admit it. He can control fire, and he's really hot-headed, but when he's not angry, he's just like meh. And that does really fit me from time to time. I'm not saying I'm like all the time, but sometimes I do happen to be moody as fuck. And so I made Dave. And Dave loves cacti, and I love cacti as well. And he loves candles, and I love candles as well. And he loves tea, even though he's like the most moodiest bitch on the earth. He's just like me, and I love him. And I do kind of regret that I don't draw him that often, because I suck at bad anatomy, and I really don't know how I made the wings in his ref, but I did it, and I hope I can do it again sometime. And because I am a furry, like most have assumed by now, I have my main persona, and I somehow don't have the image file without the fucking watermark anymore, so I'm very sorry for this. And basically, Justine has existed since 2011. His very first name was Krähenschatten, which is German for crow shadow. And I changed his name over the course of the years, and now he's just called Justine Revi Swanson, and his nickname is just Juicy. And he was made from my love for vaporwave aesthetic, so like his colors are bright and red and purple and blue and all this kind of stuff, and I really love it. I have so many badges with his design, and he's like my symbol. He's the symbol of everything. I love him so much, and I really, just like with Dave, I don't draw him that much in the last time because he doesn't really fit my current style. But I love him so much, and I would never change him. So I just kind of wait for me to calm down, get back into the whole canine drawing thing again, and yeah, he doesn't have much of a backstory. He's like just made from the Cerberus and a Nephilim, like a fallen angel, and the Hell Dog. And he does actually have a hell form, which is like black, like purplish black, with horns and purple eyes and all this kind of stuff, and he looks really menacing. And in his secondary form, he's just like this vaporwave edgy anime bitch you see at the screen. And he's really me. He has the eye bags, he has the glasses, he has the piercings, he has tattoos, like the semicolon tattoo I have on my wrist, and I really, really love him. And let's say, even though he doesn't have much of a story, he is one of my favorite characters. I could never let him go, and I hope he stays with me for a long time. So thanks for staying with me again, and I really hope you did enjoy it, and I'm really sorry for me making any weird mistakes. As I said in my very first video, my commission story video, this is my first time speaking in a video, and I really give my best to speak understandably, and I listen a lot to other Storytime videos and I try to speak with them. I try to recreate story times when I'm not recording so I can practice my spoken English. And I try to not use scripts because I make a lot of scripts. I make a lot of written errors, like I mix up grammar or words or something, and then I can concentrate. And when I'm speaking without a script, I just look at my screen right now. When I'm not reading a script, I can make it sound more authentic. I think that's the word. So I can practice my spoken English more. I really hope you did enjoy it, as I said, and I hope you consider to watch more of my videos, and thank you so much for gifting me your time, and I see you in the next one.